Welcome to the Friday at 4 podcast series with your host Charles Luttrell and co-host Steve Kent.
Steve, welcome back to Friday at 4. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How you doing, Chuck?
Hanging in there. So we got a guest this week, Anthony. Anthony, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you guys so much for having me on, sharing your audience. Hopefully we can talk about some stuff that makes a difference today.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you being here.
Yeah. Steve and I are, we're getting comfortable with this thing, man, but we've been wanting guests for a long time. We've had several, but I'm glad to have a guest on this week. And let me go ahead and kick this thing off with my little paragraph I got put together here for us, and that'll give our audience and you guys a chance to talk about the topic this week.
Sounds good.
All right. So in this episode, we're talking about the difference between doing well and doing good, especially in business, right? So at Q.A.C. team and through my Chasing the Stars video series, we're proving that success isn't just about profits. It's about shining a light on honest businesses, elevating the ones who truly serve their customers, and helping communities discover the gems that they've been missing. And that's what I love to do. When you build a brand around transparency and impact, doing good becomes the engine that helps you to do well. What do you think?
I'm in. Speaking my language.
All
Love
right.
it.
So, go ahead, Anthony. Well, first of all, thank you for being here.
Again,
And
pleasure.
tell the audience, give us like the 30-second, 60-second,
Sure.
who are you? What do you do?
Sure. I'll make it as succinct as possible. I'm 37. I started in the network marketing industry 20 years ago. A friend of mine told me he met someone that was going to retire in his 20s and leave his regular job. And This is back in 06, pre-Instagram, pre-gurus and blockchain and gig economy. And I said, I didn't realize that was an option. Obviously, any business takes a lot of work, takes a lot of time. But I've been doing that for 20 years, so that was able to allow me to leave my full-time day job. My wife left hers, and we've built a bunch of different companies, but my real passion is around coaching. So the element of network marketing that I love is the coaching element, helping somebody overcome their limiting beliefs, equip them with the skills and the path to be able to make the life that they want to have come true. I find so many people, they are living in so many different limiting beliefs, as I said, and that are just stopping them from being able to succeed. On the note on doing what good to do well, I think that it's very easy for people and businesses, particularly in the coaching and the personal development space and all the courses and different things, that they've confused profitability with positive impact. And there's a very, very big difference. And I think that no matter how much money that you make, if you don't have a foundationally life based in integrity, you look someone in the mirror that you believe in, that you trust, that you are proud of, that it's not going to be very, very fulfilling to snuggle up next to a big pile of money when you don't have your own integrity, you don't have relationships, you don't have your mental health, you don't have everything else that really matters a lot more in the grand scheme of things.
So I will tell you, and I think Charles is the same way, we believe the exact same thing. Money does not equate to being a good person.
Doesn't.
To doing the right thing, to having the right intentions. It
Right.
does not.
Right.
So we're all on the same page. Again, we don't do what you do, but we have the same ideals that you do. Chuck?
Right.
Yeah, so true. You guys nailed it. I mean, from coaching to financial to my show with, pulling out the hidden gems and helping. I think the way we can really intertwine this conversation, I think it'll help a lot of people really put some thought into, man, these guys, they have a really good idea here. And hopefully they can take something away from this that we share, that we're not all about the dollar. It's all about helping people get to that next level, that next step to where they want to be in their life or their career or their business, right?
Right.
I mean, like Chuck goes into, I guess for the most part, food establishments and helps them turn things around to do the good things, the right things that will help them down the road.
Love it.
I do the same thing on the financial side. I'm going in to help people to set themselves up now for the future. because the same thing with Chuck, if we don't do the right things now, when they look down the road for that pot of gold,
Yep,
it's not there.
it's true.
And how much time, effort, energy, money have you spent to get to a point where you're not where you were going to be?
For
And it's
sure.
too late at that point. So, yeah, we're all on the same page. If you got to do the right things, you have to do the good things now to be doing well later. So I love that intro, Chuck. That was great.
I'm
Yeah,
with you.
thanks. And Anthony, I really want to get your perspective on this because I know that's why I kind of chose this because I knew this would be something right up your alley as coaching. I know it would help Steve because, Steve is that way of getting you from that starting point to
Right.
where you need to be financially. So take it away.
Is that on me? All right.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
take it. I'll take it. Well, a few notes, just or a few comments on some of the things. I think that a lot of people fail to recognize that we never really are going to raise the level of our aspirations. We're going to fall to the level of our habits. So if we have a target that we want to have X million of dollars at a certain date, whether it be financial planning or we want to have a certain profitability, we want to serve a customer in a food establishment in a certain way, it's our systems and our habits that are ultimately going to determine where we end up in the long term. We could have grand vision goals, and any business owner, most people financially, and if you don't have a vision, that's a whole separate topic, but it's implementing the right things that are ultimately going to get us there. And one of those particularly that we've already been talking about is having character. It's making sure that if you're not, a lot of people like to talk about being honest until it costs them something. A lot of people like to talk about making sure you have integrity until they have to take a stand against a power structure that's paying them,
Yeah.
And the reality is that doing the right thing for what you know to be right, whether it be in a corporate setting, it be in a business setting, because a lot of people, they tend to judge people that make these choices and they fail to recognize the etymology of how people get there. Because if you put people in a high pressure situation, a lot of times people make calls to do the best that they can. So we want to try to prevent that. But you have a food business and you're behind the 8 ball and you're 90 days out on everything. Cutting a corner becomes something that comes front of mind. No one is thinking of cutting corners when everything is great and everything is fine. Typically you're not taking an amount of money and making an ultra high risk decision when you've been systematically saving and investing in a proper way over the course of decades. It always comes from trying to fix a problem or being in a situation. But if we're going to approach things properly, whether it be in network marketing, being the coaching sphere, financial, servicing businesses in the food industry, we have to make a decision ahead of time of what is it that we're willing to do, what is it that we stand for, and what is going to be things that are non-negotiable. I see a lot of people.
Well, I'll tell you
Please,
to come back to you in a second. I just want to interject because we're at that point in the
please,
conversation. So let me
please.
give my 2 seconds.
I love it.
Sorry, I have a bad sore throat, so I apologize for my voice. The company I work for, Universal Wealth, the 2 owners, every meeting we have, the 2 owners do the right thing 100% of the time. There is no gray area. It's right or you don't do it.
Right.
They tell you flat out, if you're going to cut a corner, you cannot work in this company.
Totally.
And they have bounced people from the company because they cut the corner, didn't do the right thing by the customer. So your point of you got to do the right thing 100% of the time, because at some point down the road, not only will it will come back to you,
It does.
but how do you live with yourself?
Right.
Some people say, I don't care, I'm out for the money. But is that really the right way, the long-term way? And the answer, in my mind, the answer is no, it's not.
Sure.
Yes. So again, I wanted to just interject because I'm right on line with you, and I believe Chuck is the same way. So yeah, I'm sorry. So I know I cut you off.
No. I think it's great, right? And if you take the topic here today, doing well and doing good, while they sound like the same thing, but they're totally different, right? Because doing well is really like pushing you above that plateau, right? So we plateau, that's what we're doing good. But doing well pushes you above that plateau, right? So it gets you out of that sticky point, right? So I'm interested to know, to hear this conversation forward with both of you guys, and Anthony, to take back off of what Steve said about me. what I love about what I do is I look at Google, Yelp, and Facebook reviews. I tie it together in a snapshot. And I go undercover like a mystery shopper, and I
Oh,
compare
cool.
what I find professionally to what you see online.
Mm,
Now, that's never the truth.
sure.
It's always mixed up there, right? So
Yep.
again, right? You got a business that's doing good. I can get you to doing well.
Hmm. Yeah.
There's in my mind, and Anthony, I think you said this before, you have aspirations, you want to get to a certain point, but you're going along and you're doing, to use Chuck's words, good.
Hmm.
But if you continue, and again, my mind, if you do the good things enough,
Sure.
you will get to what you define as well. Because
Yeah.
doing well is different for everybody. So don't compare, your neighbor next
Of
door.
course.
But if you do the right things often enough, the good things will continue and you'll get to the well side.
Yeah. No doubt. I think that it also the paradigm people approach things to changes over time. I think a lot of people they start with can I do it? Can I succeed? And once you've done enough things, that's not usually the variable. The variable becomes, and the real important question that we need to ask before we pursue something isn't if it's going to succeed. If we put our time in and we commit to something, eventually, in almost every situation, success is inevitable. It doesn't maybe look the same way. There might be some pivots and changes along the way. But if you put together a workout plan and you have a diet plan and you follow it, it's not a matter of if you're going to get into shape. It's just a matter of when and are you going to be in the same plan at the end. The real question needs to be, when I do succeed, does this create the life that I want? Does this create the kind of outcomes that I want? Because a lot of people, they're always chasing more money, more of this, more of that, and it can become as much of a prison as poverty or not having the kind of vocational success that you want. And a lot of people in the pursuit of this never-ending more, they very often lose their mental health, they lose their relationships, they lose their significant other, and they typically lose everything that they were doing the initial thing for to start with, and then it starts to get murky, Just because something's effective doesn't mean we should do it. Just because
That's what
something's
happens.
effective, it's not moral.
And that's what happens to small business owners a lot, right?
Right,
Entrepreneurs. They work for somebody, love what they do. They go and do it themselves, and then they find out what's involved, and then
right,
it's overwhelming, and they don't like to work 24/7, so they
right,
fail. It's a
right.
failure in process, right, Steve?
I agree. And that's why, and I've said many, many times, people who may have a full-time job who want out to become an entrepreneur, don't quit your full-time job.
So true.
Find something you like,
Right,
go work at it part-time, a
right.
month, 2 months, 3 months, even if you don't get paid, which
Sure.
you would like to, of course, but even if you don't get paid,
Right.
find out, to Chuck's point, what is really involved.
Right,
Do you really like it when you're working the extra hours, when you have to make those phone calls to
right.
people that are past due? Hey, you owe me money. I have rent to pay me. Um, what does it really take? Once you find out what it is, then consider balancing going into it for a small investment. If it
Totally.
really doesn't work, you're not out that much, but it's the same type of thing. You can move into something else. I did it. Um, it it's time. It takes
Yeah.
time. It takes money. It takes patience. It takes a lot of perseverance. But if you do it the right way, slowly,
Yeah.
ask the right questions. And if you're not sure, ask somebody else.
Yep.
Don't jump before you're ready, because then regret is the worst thing you can have. But I agree. Find something different. That's something that you like. If you want to donate to a religious organization, you want to help kids, you want to do whatever you want to do, you can, but slowly until you can get to that point.
Yeah.
Totally.
Hey, Anthony, real quick, what is your common thread that you see when you talk with people? Yeah, talk with people, and you're coaching and developing. Give us a little insight on what your common thread is and what you're seeing.
Yeah. In coaching, and network marketing is a bit different, but in coaching, I find that most people don't have clarity. They don't really know. They haven't done the internal time. They haven't taken the time to think about what is it exactly that I do want? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Because very often, psychologically, there's a lot of smoke screens. I mean, someone tells me they want to have $1 billion. I know that significance issue in the beginning because nobody needs $1 billion. Now, very, 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 very rarely, and if ever, if someone's goal is to have $1 billion, is it actually to have $1 billion?
Right.
You know, adding an amazing amount of value, changing the world. Do you want, I don't know Elon Musk, but you want to go to Mars is different. That's supporting making money, but it's first off clarity. What exactly? I'm sorry. Hey, baby, I'm in a meeting, sweetie. You snuck out, huh? All right, why don't you say hello since you're here now? Say hi.
Hey.
I love that. Okay, I got to do this meeting. I need you to go, baby. Say bye. We'll come back in a little while. Close that door for me, please. Please close that door. Please close that door. Sorry, guys.
No
That's
worries.
awesome.
But yeah, I got four. That's the craziest
So,
one.
real quick, Anth, not to cut you off, but this is what Steve I love about this podcast is we talk about this all the time. It's real, it's raw, it's unscripted. We love when stuff like this happens. I think this is one of the best things that's happened to this show since we started. What do you think, Steve?
Don't worry about it. It was great.
I'm glad. You got kids. That's how it goes. You know what I mean?
I got two. I know they're older, but I got two. Okay.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes. But anyway,
love it. So anyway,
need clarity, and then people need accountability. The thing you can't get from a book or from a guru. And I love to touch on the going all in on stuff because I think that's a big fallacy, but especially too fast. But what happens with this is we get the clarity, but then we need someone to hold us accountable. We need someone that we can just reflect back. And that's what a personal trainer is best for. I mean, in the beginning, they teach you the workout, but it doesn't get that complicated. But sometimes you need someone to hold you accountable to an appointment. And a lot of people, they do, well, I shouldn't need that. And it's faulty logic because you either do or you don't need it. And if you're not getting the things done that you need, having someone to support you, even though you should do it by yourself, becomes an ego blockage. On the point of the going all in on something, survivor bias is such a major issue psychologically that people encounter, So it's like when World War II, they took all the planes back and all the planes that came back, they started reinforcing all the areas that had the most bullet holes. It was the worst. It's the worst thing to do. You need to, all the places that don't have bullet holes need the reinforcing because those planes never came back. So what tends to happen in this personal development area is you hear about the one-off person that burns all the bridges and quits college and goes all in, and it disregards the 999 people that did that and burned their whole life up. So it just makes a lot more sense. That's where on the network marketing end, having anything, whether it be that or whatever you're doing, keeping your full-time job, having your stability and your responsibility taken care of, and then taking time over a season to actually prove concept for yourself and for whatever model is you're proving, to then not burn everything up and be like, I'm regretful.
Yep. That's what I said. Nice. Same thing. I agree.
Yeah.
Keep the full time.
But though, Steve,
keep the benefits.
But Steve, you talk about this almost every episode. We do. We talk about how, don't quit your day job until you get stability. It's one thing that we talk about is you got to have a way to make money before your business can really get to where it needs to be, to where you're sustaining by yourself, right? Yeah.
Right.
From the financial side, I tell everybody on all these episodes, if you're going to start something part-time to see if you like it, pay off your credit cards, pay off your car loan.
Right.
So that when you get to that point, your monthly nut is that much lower. So you can take a drop in income if you do. Yeah, and that's the only way to go. It's the only way to go.
Yeah.
I just got a credit card the other day in the mail. 30.4%.
Unreal.
And if I miss one payment, it goes to 34.9.
Yay.
Seriously.
Wonderful.
I mean, come on.
Joey Bag of Donuts used to run that. Now they just have Capital One running it.
I don't know what they do, but that's the type of stuff that we talk about, that don't get into debt because you don't want to be paying interest for no reason.
No, certainly on liabilities. That's financial literacy. A lot of people struggle. They build their lifestyle to their income. There's no margin, and you get trapped in whatever you're doing. Correct. I mean, money is meant to make you money and to invest in assets. A lot of people have been fooled that capitalism is consumerism, which is great for the capitalists, but unless you own assets and you're not developing assets, then you're always stuck under the gun of having to work for money, and usually in situations that are below the type of environment you'd like to live in because you need the money.
Yep. That's my whole piece. I do that all the time. My financial literacy is my whole thing.
Yeah, yep. I'm with you.
Yep.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, my nose.
It's all good.
It's all good, man.
Ever
I,
snuck back in anyway.
I get it. And there she is again.
My wife will be in here any minute, but
No,
we'll
no, that's
have
not.
some
Don't worry
chatter
about
in
it.
the
That's
background
okay.
till then.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
It's all
Um,
good, man.
but
That's what
yeah,
this podcast is about. Us being us. This is
Yeah,
real, raw,
yeah,
the truth. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
And that's why we do what we do. And I love this podcast. And Steve and I built this thing to where I think him and I really from the beginning, when he first interviewed on my podcast, you know, this thing just I don't know, it exploded because I felt like him and I just we gelled to where we complement each other with our businesses and what we're doing, you know. So I think having this open discussion, open forum, this freeness to this,
totally.
and inviting anybody in like you to come on and just talk about what we talk about, I think that's it really it makes me happy to know that if one person listens to this and takes something from these podcasts, it's made my year,
Right.
you know.
Yep, yep.
I'm with you.
And like you said, that's why we do this. That's why we bring guests like yourself on to not only add a new perspective, but give yourself some visibility as well for people that you may not have met or have met you before. So it's really a
Yeah.
two-way. That's why we asked you in the beginning, tell us a little bit about you so people
Right.
know who you are.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I
It's
like
a fun
about it,
thing.
Anthony,
It's a
because
unique
it
thing.
gives you, you come on the show and it gives you a whole different audience that might not see you and know what you do, and they can reach out to you and say, "Hey, I saw
Yeah.
you on Chuck's podcast, man. Let's talk about what we do. So let's connect.
Right.
That's my goal with this.
Right. Well, it's a special thing. You get to meet all different kinds of people, all different kinds of connections. You never know where someone has a connection or you could help or wherever the direction is. One of the things I think, as we close as a last point is depending on where someone's at. I think most people, they might want to make extra money. They might want to increase their income. They want to change their situation. I think that there's really a few points that we need to roll through that'll help you to get there. And I went to a Tony Robbins seminar. It was like 10 grand. I'll give you the core of it, for free. But first off is you need to find guidance. You need to find somebody that can guide you and mentor you that has two elements. And a lot of people disregard one of them. The first is they need to share similar values. They need to be the kind of person that they share the values that you share. So if you're a family person and you want to get advice from a super successful person in your industry, but they're on their third wife, then you're not going to be able to put yourself in a position because you're going to end up with no wife. Baby. So you're not going to be able to do that. Secondly, is you need to have curated resources. Oh, the second thing is you have to have the success. You can't take advice from someone that you like if they haven't had success. I mean, it doesn't make anyone bad or good. A lot of people get really emotional about talking to people they love about information, but if your family's not wealthy, it's going to be a difficult person for you to talk to. They're not going to be able to help you. Hey, buddy, you got to give me a minute, please. Can you guys take Ember out of here, please? Please, thank you. Thank you, guys. Secondly, with that, is you need to have resources. You need to have study. You have to personally develop. I read about a book a week for about 20 years. The more you appreciate and value, the more you are going to make money in the marketplace. The more your value is, the more money you can make. And if you want to be able to increase your earning power, you want to increase that, you have to put yourself in a position that you have more skills and you know more than other people. Right. Third is you're going to need to find a proper vehicle to apply something to, So if you want to be a school teacher, as long as you're okay with the income, I think that's a noble thing, but you can't be expected to become a millionaire and be a school teacher. So you have to have a vehicle that's going to fulfill what you want and ultimately give you the financial reward. And then fourth, the thing that people disregard is community. You need to have like-minded people that are on the same track, that are building something, that are yes people, they're not no people. And it puts you in a position where you can't actually do anything if you don't have people supporting you, and a lot of people are more no people than yes people.
I'm glad you said that because that's happened to me. I'm running into not negative people about what I do. You're running into people who want to, I don't know, is it jealousy because they're not doing what you're doing, or I don't know, but I'm getting that vibe that people, they'll criticize you before they will help you.
Always.
If that makes sense. And I know you probably deal with that all the time, right?
Well, in my experience, and again, from a different perspective than Anthony's, but from my experience, people who are not doing well
always
don't want you to do well.
Always.
And they
Misery
will
loves company, right?
sabotage you in any number of ways because they don't want you to be successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I started to do a couple of months ago was I started to go through, and I started with my Google Calendar, and I started to go through all the items, and my weeks were booked solid. And I started to say, is this a nice to have or a necessary to build my business?
Totally.
And I started deleting items. And
Yep.
then a few weeks later, I did it again and then again. So I now have more time for me
Right.
to develop myself and my business as opposed to full time helping others. Now, it's great to help others, but at some point, my rent
Sure.
needs to be paid, my car
Sure.
payment, my food bill, right? So
Sure.
I want to help, and I still do, but to a much, much smaller extent because people want to help for themselves, not to help you.
Yeah. Usually if people aren't successful too, I don't think it's intentional. I think a
No.
lot of times it becomes an emotional thing
Hmm.
where no one's being attacked. It's just if someone doesn't have this self-image to believe that they can do something, it's almost impossible to believe that you can do something. So it just becomes a projection. It's
Correct.
just their personal psychology. And it's one of those reasons that a lot of people think that successful people, and this could be in any vertical, it doesn't have to be finances, but successful people tend to spend time with other successful people, and people
Yes.
that aren't. And it's not that the successful people look down on the people that are less
No.
successful. Usually, the less successful people, because of their own feelings of lack or shame, they disassociate, they project onto the other person. Because in general, when people are successful, they've been helped and they've given a lot of help. And that's usually kind of the way they are. They're not going to help people that don't want to be helped. They're not going to help people 24/7, but they're usually the person, if you ask for advice or a question, they answer. And the person that isn't, they're too busy to do anything else. But the busiest person that's already got 3 companies, that's already done a bunch, it's a different perspective, But that's why
Yeah.
a coach and having any mentor, a coach, a guide in your life, you have to have someone that believes in you, has succeeded, and is going to help affirm that, because you just need one person to believe in you. If you got one person that really believes in you, they've accomplished it, that's all you need in the noise of everyone else that doesn't.
Right. So, what do you think about the statement that I heard quite a few times? When you go into a room, never be the smartest person in the room. Leave.
Sure. Well, you can't learn anything. So
There you go.
if
Right.
you're serving, that's a different ball game. I
Correct.
think that a really good kind of mental audit for us that kind of keeps us balanced is it's really great, and it's not going to be so perfect, but it's a mental model that you spend a third of your time with people that you're helping. They have nothing to offer you. You're doing it out of service. You spend a third of your time with people that are peers, that are in a similar level, that are moving forward. You can share challenges, you can connect with, you can learn from. And then a third of your time with people that are in a totally different class that you're learning from. And that keeps you pretty balanced, because if you're only the dumbest person in the room all of the time, it's also it's a lot, and you're not even a lot of service. If you're only with your peers, then you're kind of just chatting and complaining about the stuff that you're doing most of the time, not moving forward. If you're always the smartest person in the room, you're not gaining anything, So it's kind of good to try to balance it, in my opinion.
Right.
And
Yeah.
let me interject real fast with this because I'm dealing with that right now as we speak. Not to toot my own horn and think I'm this holy dude guy, great thing, but every day of my life, I'm the smartest guy where I'm at. And I cannot grow by
No.
doing this. And today I ran into a guy who didn't even know me. Within 5 minutes, he was able to assess,
Sure.
get on me at the same level I was on, and push me to that positive mental attitude again because I started to lose it today.
Yeah.
The past week and the past few days have been very challenging. But I ran into an angel today that really put it in perspective and said, look, man, you're good.
Yeah.
You just have to keep pushing. You gotta, and as you talked about, right? I'm looking for that mentor. I'm looking for that person who is way above my level to grab my hand and say, dude, we got this. Let's pull you up here. Let's get you where you got to be. Right.
Right. No doubt. A lot of people, they've been burned by personal development stuff. They've bought courses, they've paid people, and it becomes such a travesty, because if you can find someone who has domain experience, shares your values, and is willing to give you their time for free, what a blessing. But that's not most people's cases.
Correct.
Very, very rarely are you going to be able to find somebody that's in your family or your immediate network that can do that. If you can, excellent. But when you put yourself in a position, also the interesting thing with paid coaching is it makes you listen. One of the secrets of these high cost coaches, you pay $10,000 to go to a program, or you pay $100 for a Zoom link to a program. It can be the same information, but the $10,000 program has a much higher efficacy because you have to listen. You're like, I put 10 grand in here, So
Yeah.
if you find someone that you can build proper rapport with, that you can trust in a coaching space, it becomes a really worthwhile investment, not only on the skills and the accountability, but to get you to help do the things, give you some leverage. Because a lot of times we pretty much know mostly what we need to do. We're just either too busy in our schedule, like Steve said, where we got so much shit going on that we're not paying attention to what's the ROI on it. Or we're in a position where we kind of know, but we're afraid to do it, or we don't have the confidence. And just having that element, I helped a guy start a company from zero. He was in the church world. He'll do over $200,000 of revenue this year, huge profit margin, on track for $500,000 next year. And I don't know AV. I don't know, and I'm not here to say that I did that. He did 99% of the work. But having someone to walk you through, keep you accountable on a bi-weekly basis, organize your thoughts, keep on track. On the hard days, like when Charles had today, you have someone that's like, hey, listen, that's normal. Because when you're having a hard stretch, you don't know, is this normal or should I quit? And it becomes tough, and you need someone to tell you that, no, you need to keep going, or maybe you do consider changing directions. But when you're by yourself, you don't know if it's your feelings or if you're just 1 foot from gold,
Yep.
And
a
you
lot
know
of
what?
times you end up making the wrong decision because you're listening to emotion as opposed to
Right.
what's really in front of me.
Right.
And the cool thing about today was, like I said, he didn't know me. Within 5 minutes, I shared my QR code with my website, and he instantly said, do not stop what you're doing.
Yeah.
Instantly. I mean, he looked at my website. He said, did you build this website? Yeah. He's like, it's great. Okay. Don't stop what you're doing, And for that person to come out of nowhere, right, gave me that reassurance that, no, you are doing good things. Keep pushing, keep getting through this sticky point, that I'm struggling with,
Right.
Well, I tell you that all the time. Keep going.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
Yeah, you
And
do.
I know you're tone deaf to me. I get that. So you need somebody else.
That's how it goes. That's how, and that's the thing. Sometimes you need someone outside that's got no personal investment, doesn't know you. And it's just, and the other thing for everyone to hear is saying that to people, sometimes all people need, just encouraging people, believing it. If someone believes in what they're doing and they love it, I always think the best thing to do is just to affirm them to go down it. Because if they don't do it, they're going to be regretful. If they do it and it fails, they learn something. And if they do it and it succeeds, A+. But like network marketing, 99% of people don't succeed. Finances, you're in the same thing. Financial, whether you're a fiduciary, you're a broker, there's a lot of noise, a lot of people not trusted. But the reality is, just because 99% of people don't succeed at something, or 90% of businesses go out of business, or 60% of people get divorced, doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, and it doesn't mean that's going to be you. So positively encouraging people is always one of the least expensive and impactful things we can do.
Yep, you got it. 516-727-2294. That's how you reach Steve. Anthony, how do we reach you?
My cell, you happy to call me? I give my personal cell out too, because so few people call. It's not my Google number, it's my real number, but 631-327-2241. Out of passion, like I said, I started this bespoke small coaching company. I'm only working with people that make sense. If you book a time, it's just with me. If we like each other and the values align, we can figure something out. But that's sparkachangecoaching.com. And I'd love to connect you, whether you Instagram is a Spark is Born, Anthony Spark, but love to connect any way I can help if you got the guts to reach out.
Love it.
All right. Chuck's number is 410-935-6132.
Awesome.
Reach out to any of us. We'll be more than happy to talk to you.
Love it.
If you have questions, let us know. If you want to be a guest, come on like Anthony did.
Yeah.
All's good.
Yeah, Anthony, I appreciate you coming on and taking the time. I know you're the first of the change of my podcast. I apologize for having to make that, to send it out. But, I love that I'm getting people to coming to me for my podcast, from outside sources. I love it. But I had to make that change because I got to focus on my show. I got to put my focus where I want it,
Yeah, I get it. Well, I'm so thankful to be here. I'm great to meet you guys. anyone that reaches out to you guys is going to be in great hands with people that have integrity first. That's the most important thing.
You as
And
well.
Anytime you want to come on, Anthony, any Friday 4 o'clock, man, you're welcome. Okay.
sounds great. Well, thank you, gentlemen.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it. Thank you,
Steve,
Anthony.
Have
and
a
in
great
closing,
day.
My standard, or you want to prompt for it, or should I just say it?
you go for it.
It's 4 o'clock somewhere.
I love it.
Friday at 4, so it's 4 o'clock somewhere.
I love it. I love
Anthony,
it.
we started that a while back. I just got this wild idea because it's Friday before, and I said, that 5 o'clock somewhere thing. It's 4
There
o'clock
you go.
somewhere when we do this podcast. And
I
Steve and I
love
have
it.
been doing this every time, every episode.
I love it. I love it.
It's a good
All
thing.
right,
Guys,
good
I really
stuff.
appreciate it. This has been a great episode.
It
Anthony,
was.
thanks again for your
Yes,
input.
thank you, Anthony.
Steve, again,
You.
thanks for coming on again and being here. And let's continue this thing every Friday at 4 o'clock.
You
Oh,
got
yeah,
it.
baby.
Thanks. Have a great weekend. Take
Guys,
care.
have a
Bye-bye.
great evening. Have a
You
great
got it.
weekend, and we'll talk soon.
You got it. Take care.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
You've been watching the Friday at 4 podcast series with your host Charles Luttrell and co-host Steve Kent. Thanks for watching.